India's economic corridor project connecting India, Middle East and European Union is really making China sweat.
In our previous video, we explained how China is trying to impose a global foothold with its Belt and Road Initiative. India has now launched its own economic corridor with the Middle East and European Union during the recently concluded G20 summit in Delhi.
Also, some reports suggest that Italy might walk out of the Belt and Road Initiative and would rather concentrate its resources on the India economic corridor. Again, China is not really very comfortable with that as well.
The historic agreement on India Middle East Europe Corridor or IMEC during the G20 summit in Delhi signifies a momentous occasion for India. The corridor not only offers an alternative transport route to the thriving markets of the Middle East and Europe but also facilitates the establishment of a substantial energy network. IMEC is envisioned as a network of transport corridor encompassing rail and sea routes aimed to fostering economic growth by connecting Asia, the Middle East and Europe, and also the establishment of hydrogen pipeline for future use of sustainable energy. Now, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has hailed it as the largest cooperation project in our history with global benefits, highlighting Israel's central role in its implementation.
שבוע טוב לכם, אזרחי ישראל. הערב אני שמח לבשר לכם בשורה גדולה. ישראל נמצאת במוקד של פרויקט בינלאומי חסר תקדים, פרויקט שיחבר תשתיות בין אסיה לאירופה. החיבור הזה יגשים חזון רב שנים, שישנה את פני המזרח התיכון, את פניה של ישראל, והוא גם ישפיע על העולם כולו. החזון הזה מתחיל בהודו, עובר דרך איחוד האמירויות, ערב הסעודית, ירדן, ישראל, ומגיע לאירופה.
IMEC consists of two distinct corridors, an eastern corridor linking India to the Middle East and a northern corridor extending from the Middle East to Europe. In the eastern corridor, the route begins with a sea connection between India and Dubai's Jebel Ali port. A subsequent rail route spans Al Guaifat, Harad, Riyadh, Al Haditha and ultimately reaches Israel's port of Haifa. The northern corridor encompasses a sea route from the port of Haifa to Italy and France, followed by another rail link extending the corridor deeper into Germany.
This project is part of the Partnership for Global Infrastructure Investment, which is a response to China's Belt and Road Initiative. The Chinese government had extended loan to different nations for these infrastructure projects. In exchange, the Chinese companies be given these contracts for execution. This has allowed China to extend its global presence significantly.
With the news of this economic corridor making headlines worldwide, another story is capturing attention. Italian media had reported that Italy was contemplating leaving China's Belt and Road Initiative. Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni later stated that Italy's relationship with China extends beyond the BRI. Clarifying that the final decision on leaving the BRI had yet to be made, it's worth noting with Italy, which joined the BRI in 2019, is the sole G7 country to be part of this initiative.
During the G20 summit in India, Prime Minister of Italy Giorgia Meloni and the Chinese Premier Li Qiang held meeting. And as soon as the meeting got over, reports started to surface that Italy is planning to withdraw from the Belt and Road Initiative. Now the question is, why?
Italian political leaders have voiced concern that BRI has favored China more than Italy. Italy joined the initiative during the period of economic need, having endured 3 recessions in a decade. At that time, Italy's government had strained relations with the EU and sought Chinese funding. However, 4 years later, there is a perception that the agreement hasn't significantly benefited Italy. According to data from Council on Foreign Relations, China's foreign direct investment or FDI in Italy plummeted from $650 million in 2019 to a mere $33 million in 2021. Surprisingly, China invested significantly more in non-BRI European countries. Regarding trade, Italy's export to China grew modestly from 14.5 billion euros to 18.5 billion euros after joining the BRI. Conversely, Chinese export to Italy surged from 33.5 billion euros to 50.9 billion euros during the same period. Secondly, the Belt and Road Initiative itself has garnered negative publicity over time. Several nations that initially embraced it now grapple with substantial debt obligation to China.
India has always opposed the Belt and Road Initiative for the fact that part of the project passes through Indian territory that's illegally occupied by Pakistan. Now, it would be interesting to see whether Italy manages to withdraw from the Belt and Road Initiative and how much Israel is invested into the project. that is the India, Middle East, European Economic Corridor.